you tonight to settle the contract. What I'm here to do is challenge somebody up there to take a lead role and get it done. Over the last 2 years, over the last 2.5 years, I have sat opposite a gentleman who would have offered us nothing until we died. It's not funny. Somebody who just wanted to go home. Someone who really didn't want to take charge. Then I was left with a superintendent who really shouldn't have been in that role. I was left with a business administrator who just wants to say no, shouldn't even be in that role either. And at various times, I've gotten to know all of you better than I would have liked to have. And you are nice people, and I've enjoyed some of the time I've spent with you. But every time we get kind of close or make a little progress, I get a phone call from John Williams, he's our representative, who says, I got a phone call from Russ Weiss, who's their lawyer, who says, make sure he knows none of this that's going on now really matters. It doesn't count. None of this really makes a difference. Our position is still our last position. And we're close. And we made up a guide that we thought would work. I think it's in the best interest of the district. And then Doug Peckenack said no. And every time I get close, I get the feeling Kristen doesn't want to step on somebody's toes. Jimmy seems to have abdicated his role to Doug a long time ago. I haven't seen Joe in a while. Mr. Button's not involved in the process any longer. And there are people who quietly and individually, even Mr. Button at a time, way back when I was talking to him, who seem to have an interest in getting it done. But it seems to me like nobody up there wants to take the blame for getting it done. They don't want to be the one who gave the teachers what they wanted. We're not going to get rich here. We would certainly never have come to the board for a new contract at this point in the whole situation in the state. But unfortunately, our contract ran out. Somebody up there needs to rise to the challenge. All we need is someone to say, this is a fair number that we can live with. I can't imagine that we're too far apart on whatever the number's going to be. People up there tell me we know our salaries aren't competitive. And yet they talk to me about how big the raise is going to be. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. You've lost the confidence of these people. You think you're getting it back, you're kidding yourself. There are some very good people up there in the front of the room who are not being perceived the same way they used to be perceived. It's really a shame. We need to get it done. At various times I've been put off for lots of good reasons, but not good enough, I don't think. We've been put off because it's the budget this week. We've been put off because they have to prepare for CBS this week. We've been put off because there was something else going on. We've been put off because there's a recall election going on. It's 2.5 years.
I just want to reiterate something he said, that if you don't think it's going to happen, that teachers will leave, they will. I, as an example, got my tenure as a teacher years and years ago.
Say your name.
I'm sorry, Fran Serrano, live in Chester Township. I taught, got my tenure, and left in the middle of the year because of low morale. Just want to put that out there. Got a better job and doubled my salary in 1 year.
Guidance counselor at Westmore Central. Nothing, excuse me, I'm tired. And I'm sure you are, Mrs. Ford. So I remember a conversation you and I had last year. You said you just wanted to be on the board to work on education. And we've been here talking now for over an hour. We've gotten any education content.
Yep.
This arguing about a contract has got to be slowing you guys. I'll just say this. Listen to some students speak tonight, parents speak tonight. Very positive feedback about the experience their children have had. And I myself, I can't speak for anyone else, but I know that I work hard day in and day out to give these kids, the kids of this district, the best opportunity they can have, the best educational experience they can have. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old daughters at home. 10. All I want to do right now is read Monster at the end of the book. But instead, we're here fighting amongst each other. Let's get back to education. Let's get this contract settled. so I can give these kids here the best opportunity possible. And we can get a fair, equitable contract so I can give my kids the best opportunity possible. Thank you.
Yes, in the back. Yes, you're back.
Eric Jacobson, Westmore Central. I want to kind of piggyback on what Matt said. I don't rise tonight as a teacher, but as a parent, as a future parent of this district. I have two sons, one's 6 and one's 3. They love Westmore Central. They love this district. They love going to my football games. They love coming to my hockey games. They love coming to my baseball games. I coach 3 sports to give them a better opportunity in life, just like Matt does for his family. You know, I came to New Jersey 10 years ago this year. I worked at the State House for a couple years. I used to come by to school, going to my in-laws' house. I said, you know what? That kind of reminds me of home, some of the high school that I went to. It's someplace I really want to be. And I am truly thankful to the opportunity that the board has given me, the school has given me, and my colleagues have also given me these last 7 or 8 years I've been here at the school. But I also want to continue to give the greatest opportunity possible to my children. And I can only hope that we can get a fair settlement soon, so that I may also, hopefully in 2023 and 2026, have a go to that graduation ceremony for my 2 sons who love this school, who love being here, who love the people here. And again, I want to thank you for the opportunity. Let's get somewhere so we can continue to give that opportunity. I can move to this district and say my students are graduates of Westmore Central High School. Thank you.
Readdress the issue of Benjamin Mitchell's termination at Mendham. There are a ton of amazing educators in this room, but one is missing, and that is Benjamin Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell teaches a unique course with equally unique individuals. In the uncertainties of high school, he is connected with his students in ways that personally I know, having been through 4 years of Mendham, some teachers ultimately fail at. In a classroom, the level of comfortability frequently has a great impact on the education that a student experiences. In a rigid and aloof class, in which the teacher distances themselves and thickly draws the line between student and teacher as an authoritarian figure, learning often comes second to classroom decor. I've personally experienced this many times. I know what it is like to resist the authority of a teacher who does not acknowledge that we students are people too, and though we are younger, we wish to be treated with respect as fellow human beings. Mr. Mitchell is a teacher and a person who I have come to befriend and trust, both in school and outside of it. I feel as though I can come to him with academic and life problems, and have yet to learn more about the incorporation of a subject in real life in a classroom, in his class and any other class. But what is more, is he has managed to establish this type of relationship with all of his students. Liking children is a big part of teaching. And I know I've often had the feeling at this school that some teachers don't always like their students. Is it just me? And it's a feeling that makes, thank you, it's a feeling that makes a student dislike the teacher back and dislike that class. As many of my friends and their parents have said, each lunchroom, the tech room is full of students. They all have smiles on, they're all busy, they're either working or laughing, but they're truly being themselves because he offers a sanctuary in that room. And I know that the stresses of this year in the contract have forced many teachers to give up their lunch periods, their interactions, and their extra help that they can offer. But every day he gives that to us students, and he gives us an opportunity to be ourselves, to find ourselves, and to explore technology, because that room is filled with dangerous weapons. And his dedication, it really doesn't stop there. 4 days a week, it used to be 5, until we realized that he was working. 2 hours he says, but usually ends up being like 4. Every day after school, all year round, it's not like a sports season, it's all year, the robotics team tinkers, builds, constructs, and comes up with ideas that would blow almost everybody's mind in here. They are incredible. And he, as our robotics proctor, doesn't say a word. He just gives us the tools and tells us just to go. And through his trusting relationship, giving us those tools, really. But through this relationship and this level of comfortability, I've learned more about myself and technology and his philosophy of technology only because of this relationship and how comfortable I feel in this classroom. I don't feel like I have to stay in my assigned seat or look straight up or raise my hand before talking. I feel like I'm treated as a person, and I feel like I'm treated as an equal, and it really has helped me to learn more in this one subject just because of the way he carries a student-teacher relationship. And the robotics trip, which he personally funded a part of, because we are not given any money by the school, we do our own fundraising, but he paid out of his own pocket. The robotics trip is incredible, and you can't really describe it in words, but you can travel from China to Chile in about 5 steps just by going from one team's table to another. And it has taught me, personally, international cooperation. I spoke some Spanish. Didn't go well. Sorry for you. But it exposes us to more societies in 4 days than in weeks of traveling abroad ever could. And he organized the entire trip, and I promise you that there is no other teacher or parent that has the time and the love for us students and technology and robotics that Mr. Mitchell has. And he is constantly going above and beyond without even realizing that he does so. When it comes to him, when it comes to teaching, exceptionality is normality for Mr. Mitchell. And few teachers, though a lot of them are in this room that do, few teachers possess this quality. When the administration fires someone who has touched so many lives through his passion for his field of education, but endorses teachers that don't treat students like people, or that do kind of the bare minimum. I have experienced them, unfortunately. They're few, but the message that this sends to students and to everybody that teachers have impacted is extremely negative. And I was just wondering, can we affect change at all? Everybody, if you're here to support Mr. Mitchell, could you stand up? So, for the sake of the school in desperate need of this uniquely brilliant man, please reconsider your decision, for it is a fact that this is in the absolute best interest of us, the students. And I know you can't comment, so you don't even have to say it, but thank you.
Hi, my name is Maria Castro Alvarez, and I teach in West Morris Central. This week I was reading an article about the housing bubble and how Dean Baker was one of the first economists to have pointed out the bubble. He became aware of it in 2002, after Greenspan gave testimony that there was not one. But for Dean Baker, Greenspan's arguments didn't square up. So he looked into it and predicted later on an economic crash. Dean Baker was ignored and dismissed because Greenspan was louder and more powerful, and he was holding the microphone, and a lot of people were listening just to him. And Greenspan said there is not a housing bubble. We also have testimonies from the past that remind us that just listening to the loudest, it can become dangerous, like Germany, where they thought all their problems stem from the Jews. Nowadays, our society is jumping into the newest political bandwagon that has chosen the unions as their latest scapegoat. Once again, the loudest is holding the microphone and is telling everybody that we teachers are the enemies. However, in my experience as a teacher here at West Morris Central, I see a very different picture. I was present when the new principal in West Morris Central, Mr. Steve Ryan, addressed our students with several questions. And to my delight, I could listen how grateful the students were because of their teachers. the students were aware of our dismay and hardships as not having a contract yet. But at the same time, they marvel at how their teachers, regardless of ed, continue to provide them with their best in order to help them flourish. One of these students said that she wouldn't become who she was today if it wasn't for her teachers. This person is here today and she's going to go to jail, I heard. I was also there when Mr. Steve Ryan said that he has chosen West Morris Central because of his excellent faculty members, among other factors. When I look to schools around us and compare their students with West Morris students' accomplishments, SAT scores, percentage of students graduating, and other stats, I cannot stop thinking that we faculty have something to do with all these positive outcomes. Despite all these extraordinary events, the message I received from the Board of Education is that we are not good enough, that we need to do more and more. Enough is enough. No more excuses, no more futile arguments. The truth is that we are excellent professionals that are doing beyond and above our duties and job expectations. When I hear people saying that we should feel the crisis as everybody else when I hear people saying that we should teachers feel the crisis as everybody else, I want to say back that if they were to become teachers, they would realize that teaching is about sacrifices, total dedication, and lots of overwork. We have been experiencing crisis since the day that we became teachers. As everybody knows, when one applies pressure to a garden hose, the result is the pouring of a faster flow of water that might destroy the flowers instead of watering them. As with any other similar situations, when oppression and injustice are forced upon people, the result is uprisings and confrontations. We can see this in the latest outbursts in the Middle East countries,